Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Year of the Demons, and we are finally in October, the spooky month, which means we are almost done with Year of the Demons, thank God, because I keep getting movies like this. This month's movie is called Dark Tower, and have you guys ever really wanted a movie to be good? I mean, like, you just put so much goodwill into the world, just praying that it's going to be a pleasant experience for the next hour and a half. And then it just spits in your face. That's this movie. Dark Tower was released in 1987, and it was directed by Freddie Francis and Kevin Wiederhorn, who went under the collective name of Ken Barnett, which proves that they probably didn't enjoy the final product that they made, but they still put it out anyways, because money. I don't know how much money this made, but it couldn't have been a lot. This particular version that I got was made by Vinegar Syndrome this year, actually. They put out some very high quality crap. Definitely recommend them. But the movie itself is not too good. It really should kind of be forgotten, I want to say. I will say, though, I did look up the Ken Wiederhorn, whatever. You guys have Wikipedia. You can figure that stuff out. He directed Return of the Living Dead Part 2, which I actually love. But I don't love this. Dark Tower is considered Demon 7, the Inferno in some countries, so there's sort of that connection there, but it really has nothing to do with Italian cinema. It's the only one that doesn't. It was filmed in Barcelona, Spain, but it's supposed to be American and Spain co-production, which kind of gives it an odd flair, because on one hand, you get people like Michael Moriarty showing up, who is definitely an American actor, who is in all kinds of weird stuff, cue The Winged Serpent, and the first movie I ever saw him in was It's Alive 3, Island of the Alive, which, God, I need to review that movie. He's also in Return to Salem's Lot, so a bunch of, like, B, C-list movies, but boy is he so much fun, and I'll talk about him in a moment, because he's kind of the saving grace of the movie, if it was saved, but nah, there's no saving grace. He almost brings it to that level. But not anything can save this movie. I held it up backwards, didn't I? Yep. This movie. Dark Tower has that weird, like, kind of European vibe to it, but it also kind of has, like, the American sensibility for the way the plot progresses. Very linear. Maybe linear might not be the right word for it, but it kind of just progresses in a much more, like, palpable viewing way for an American audience, which is kind of say, if you can watch these, like, Italian movies, you can tell that there's kind of like a surreal quality to them that you can't quite pin down. It kind of have that in a way, but instead it definitely feels like an American movie. Moving on to, like, the plot, though, it's about a haunted skyscraper. So in it, this building is still kind of under construction, but people are working in it, and after someone dies by falling off one of those window washer things, the main architect of the building starts to get, like, under flack from it, and then other people start dying, especially, like, inside a elevator lift, and some, like, security consultants are brought in, which one of them is Michael Moriarty, who is always hamming up every single thing he does, and I love him so much for that. In the movie, he kind of totally starts like as a normal character, but quickly kind of devolves into a bit of craziness when he starts to believe, like, there's actually something happening in this building. One interesting scene that happens kind of near the beginning is the other security consultant gets possessed by this haunted building and just starts gunning down people coming out of the elevator trying to kill the architect lady. And it's actually a very, like, very interesting scene the way it's shot, because it kind of, like, it feels real in the moment. It doesn't feel, like, kind of cheesy like most of the movie does. It feels scary, like it's someone's actually coming and just gunning down people, and no one knows why. Everyone's running. There's an intense panic, and it's actually probably the best scene in the movie, now that I think about it. And there's not a lot of good things about this movie, so that's not saying much. I won't go into any type of like spoilers to like reveal why it's haunted and who is good and who is bad, but there is like the architect lady is one of the main characters as well. Was kind of like a, I wouldn't say shady past, but like you don't know much about her. And Michael Moriarity character, who I don't remember any of their names, it just wasn't eventful enough to remember it. His character is trying to figure out something. He's kind of attracted to it. He has like visions of her where he wants to like make out with her, which is a little odd, but who cares? The whole movie's odd. And one thing that a lot of people talk about that I've noticed from reviews about this movie is that there's this really cool zombie-esque character near the end of the movie, which, as you can tell, bam, is on the cover. Which is actually a very cool slipcover by Vinegar Syndrome. This, however, I think is a much better poster for the movie, which I probably slapped this poster like on a thumbnail or something, I don't know. But it's like a coffin skyscraper with all these people walking towards it, which kind of made me feel like the movie was going to be kind of like possession zombie-esque, was like people being drawn to the place. Kind of like that one John Carpenter movie, not In the Mouth of Madness, Prince of Darkness, and I totally didn't just look that up because I couldn't remember it. Also, I mix up Prince of Darkness and In the Mouth of Madness so many times, and I don't know why. Anywho, I really liked this poster, and it kind of made me think I was getting a different movie than I ended up getting, which was a little disappointing because I kind of wanted like that zombie or maybe even possessed demon-esque. Maybe demons are actually going to be in the Demons movie, but nah, no, just a possessed building, you know. Scary stuff. Just don't go in the building. Just, it's scary. People die. Go elsewhere. That's all you have to do. But no one does that because everyone just keeps on staying in this building where people die, and like even if someone died in like multiple people die in a building that like I worked in, I probably wouldn't want to go back to work in that building because even if it isn't haunted, it's just kind of creepy. That's just me though, and plot has to go forward. So back to like the zombie I was talking about before. People consider that like probably the best effect for it, and I watched like a featurette about how they did it. It was all filmed in one day. They just brought a guy on, he kind of used some molds from a different movie he did, and just slapped together this zombie, and they filmed all these scenes really fast. And I don't think it looks particularly great. I'll throw a picture up for you, but honestly, it's okay. It's just like people are trying to find the best thing about this movie, and even though it might be the best thing about it, it's not great. I understand that they had like almost no budget to do it off of, so for that I kind of do commend them. But the movie just doesn't have the kind of effects I wanted it to have. And the only time they really have these like cool, gnarly effects was like the zombie. And they still don't go all the way. Like for example, when the guy falls off the window washing platform, you see like kind of glimpses of the aftermath, but not like head on. You like see like a bloody hand underneath like the sheet that they put over him after the crime scene. I kind of like the vibe in a way. Like at first, again, this is me like trying to like this movie. I was like, I kind of get what they're going for. They're trying to like show less, so when they do show something more important or more gory, it's more of a shock to it. So they want to kind of like start off low key and then build up. However, the movie started low key and then just dragged with uninteresting stuff, just talking and effects that don't go anywhere. Some interesting characters, but not enough to hold the movie together. And Michael Moriarty is trying his hardest to keep it together, but even he is not Superman, which actually would be a really good Superman movie. That was kind of good. Was like, you know, effects. I would like make a mock-up poster with Michael Moriarty as Superman, but like I'm not, so no. Then after it dragged for a bit, it kind of picked up steam a little bit. It was kind of too little too late kind of deal. It just, they kind of set it up like it was a very like slow burn, and they're not going to show a lot of stuff, more like a reserved thriller, but then the plot is too outlandish to really work that way. Like if it took itself more seriously and had much more like story beats that like were in line of like, oh, is this actually haunted? If it's not, and if it kind of like, I don't know, had a bigger budget and was able to kind of build up these scares, but instead it kind of feels trashy without having the saving grace of trashy elements, which is like the gore and the effects and whatnot. And it just kind of falls flat in almost all points. And I hate saying that because I feel like I've just been crapping all over these Demon sequels, but again, you guys know this, these aren't real demon sequels. They've just been marketed like this for some weird reason, and I don't know if it's ever going to get better. I got 2 more, and I heard the last one is a classic, so I really hope that one saves it. The next movie is also directed by Lucio Fulci, and I hope that saves it, but again, I've heard bad things, so, you know, just bring it on at this point. I'm ready to end this year because it started on such a high note, and it's just gone downhill so fast, and it was kind of disappointing. I wish this movie was better, but it's not, so I gotta live with it. Do I recommend it? Nah, I don't. I wouldn't seek it out. The Blu-ray was really cool, but besides that, I can't tell you guys to watch this now. That I would lose all my horror credentials if I keep recommending these crappy demon sequels. Fun fact that I'll end you guys on. This is also known as Curse 5. And if you guys didn't know that there was Curse 2, 3, and 4, or let alone Curse, then you're about to get a rundown in the series. So the original Curse, starring Will Wheaton, was released like in the 80s or something like that. I don't know. I don't feel like looking it up. It was based on Color Out of Space, which was a short story by H.P. Lovecraft, and it's a great short story. Highly recommend it. This Color Out of Space has been adapted before. It was called like Die, Monster, Die. And that starred like Boris Karloff and Nick Adams. And then along comes The Curse in the 80s. I want to say 87. Who knows? And that had starred a very young Will Wheaton. It also had nothing really to do with the story, just some basic concepts carried over. And then that got a sequel called The Curse to the Bite, which had almost nothing to do with anything, really. I don't know, it was about snakes. Then after that, there was Curse 3 Sacrifice, I think also known as Penga. It was Christopher Lee. So a lot of big-name people you're hearing in all these movies. That was followed by Curse 4, The Ultimate Sacrifice, which was also known as Catacombs, which was, I'm pretty sure, an Empire Pictures movie, which we might get into, actually review next year if Shane and I end up doing Year of the Empire. That was also released as a Curse 4 movie. And then I also have a weird Blu-ray of something called Curse 5 that I got from some kind of sketchy website that I think is Indian. I'll see if I can find a poster of it, but like I don't know what it is. I haven't watched it yet. This movie is the original Curse 5, so ignore that trash. This is where it's at. Now, why I just told you guys all about those Curse movies, I don't know. But you're better off for it now, right? There's also been other adaptations of Color Out of Space, the best of which was this recent one, was Nicolas Cage, and it pains me to say that because Nicolas Cage is my most hated actor, but boy does he put out the best of the best crap I have ever seen. I don't know why I just turned this review into Color Out of Space, but, you know, see you next month.